car bags. In our family, it's car bags. You might have your own practice, tradition, habit. If the Lord has blessed you with children and you're going on a trip, how do they get ready for the trip? They pull together all the things that they're going to keep busy with while they're driving for a long way. Getting ready is something that's important for kids when you go on a long trip, and it's important for human beings when they're getting ready for the very last day. The last day, wow, that's a big deal. Getting ready for a trip is important, but getting ready for the last day is a big deal, and you might have thought about that. If, as a Christian, you're familiar with God's promise that there will come a moment when the world will be no more as we know it. And, okay, I want to be ready for that. What does it take? That I have to be awake all the time, that I have to be looking out the window, that I have to be thinking about it a lot. If I forget that the last day is coming, I'm not ready. What is it? What does it mean for someone to be ready for Jesus' final return? The gospel writer Luke helps us out. Here's what he says will make sure that that day doesn't surprise us. Be careful, or your hearts will be weighed down with carousing, drunkenness, and the anxieties of life, and that day will close on you suddenly like a trap. So, how do those things make me not ready? Carousing and drunkenness and the anxieties of life. Those might not actually feel like they belong in the same category, those three things. Carousing is, in the Greek, it's like wild partying or indulging all of your indulgences, just doing what you want and doing it to excess. Drunkenness, we understand. The anxieties of life is when somebody's afraid, somebody's scared. So Jesus says that when those are the things that are occupying our mind, or those are the things that are characteristic of our living, then we're not ready. So what's the common thread between those? The common thread is that there are things that become our focus or our concern or our interest, which are not God's concern, God's interest. What is God interested in? He's interested in us understanding that we need Him, that without Him we're lost, that we're guilty before Him, that He has loved us and addressed our guilt by putting it all on Jesus, that we have an eternal home by faith in Jesus, that no matter what happens here on this earth, all is well because we're going to have an eternal home, that even if I face trouble in this life, I know that I can still praise the Lord. I can be content. I can know that He'll work even the apparently worse things out for for my eternal good. When I see all the bad things that are happening in the world, I don't need to be afraid because I know that God is still in control. And in the end, I'm just a visitor here. Heaven is my home. And okay, I've said a lot of things there. Let's think about the opposite of that. If my focus in life is getting pleasures because I don't know what else I'm supposed to do with my life, if my focus in life is trying not to have to think about all of the hard things that are part of this world's existence, and alcohol numbs me to that, I don't have to think about that. Or if I do think about all those things and it just weighs me down and I'm a worrier in a bad way, I don't find happiness in this life. I feel burdened. I feel heavily burdened. All of those things have my mind in a place which isn't viewing life from the perspective of the truth. It's not viewing life from God's perfect, revealed, here's what's really going on. When I'm not thinking straight, then I'm not ready. And if you have that sin, if I have that sin to confess to the Lord, how we tell Him, dear Lord, I'm sorry. I've gotten caught up in this world, its worries, its pleasures, its attractions. And then you have this Jesus who said these words to you. Yes, He knows that we need to have that redirection of our perspective. He knows we need to confess that we've fallen short. And he wants us to confess because he loves to forgive. He loves to embrace. He loves to assure us, all is well, I died for that sin. And then when you know that, it completely changes your perspective. You're ready not to be worried. You're ready not to get drunk. You're ready not to pursue earthly pleasures. No, you're ready. You're ready for the last day because you see everything from Jesus' perspective, that you are his dearly loved child, and you're just waiting to see him face to face.